speak, because you are dealing with fanatism. Fanatism is like, you like him or not? You have only two choices. You don't like him? Get out! That's fanatism. You can't say anything, okay? No, I like him, but maybe we should consider this. And there's some principle here, okay? You point to the principles, they point to that person. You never have a problem. That's called personal cult. Because worship, you have a Guru Shastra inside. You worship the Guru without Shastra, personal cult. You never have a problem. You worship the Shastra without Guru, also a problem. Because you will interpret in your own way. And then there is the sadhu, that means actually Guru Parampara, the other. It's like the Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj biography was mainly published not to just glorify Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj, but to show how bona fide Prabhupada was in his preaching policies. It's actually written also in a mood of glorifying Prabhupada, who actually, you didn't hear him so often to say, but Bhaktisiddhanta said, and Bhaktisiddhanta said, and Bhaktisiddhanta said. So the Buddhists were not exactly aware how exactly Prabhupada follows Bhaktisiddhanta's words, and how he is uncompromising in following his instructions. That becomes revealed when you read this biography of Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj and realize what his policies and his preaching was, how identical it is with Prabhupada. Because Prabhupada was absolutely confident and determined that when I do that, then I get the blessing. And without blessing, preaching is useless. You can present academically whatever you want. If there is no blessing, that's the lesson you get in Sankirtan. You can say the same mantra that he is saying, you can do the same thing he is doing, you don't distribute one damn sink. And he's distributing. How come? That's blessing. So ultimately, after all that preparation and all that work we do to prepare ourselves, then there must be a blessing. If there is no blessing. So here we see the Amatuta's activities were performed in a style they always did, but they were not blessed, because they were not blessed even by their own authority. That you find later on when the Amatutas go to Yamaraj back and say, you know what happened? First time! Because nobody is obstructing Yamatutas. That's not, that's the ultimate police. When Yamatutas are in action, nobody is obstructing. Nobody can. They have a power to transport the soul with no obstacles to the destination it belongs. So, but this time they were stopped. So they reported. They gave a report, Yamaraj. Look what happened. And Yamaraj was smiling and going, yeah, that's right. These nice gentlemen, shiny, it's Vishnatutas. And they are the master. They are the servants of my master. I am the servant of Vishnu. So you are automatically their servants. That's the principle. If the servant is serving a master who is a servant of this master, then they are also the servants. That's what we do. It's called parampara. We are serving Srila Prabhupada because he is serving his spiritual master, because he is serving his spiritual master, and this way we are in the circle. We are blessed. Outside of that, acting on your own, you are also blessed by material energy. That's where you are connected, and she will do whatever she wants to do. So this is also blessing. Yes, you are blessed now. You are in jail. That's the blessing. And there you will do this and this and this and this and this. But I am free. Yeah, you are free in jail. You can just knock on the door. I have to go to the toilet. And they bring you to the toilet. That's your freedom. That's all. When you are finished, you bang on the door again, they bring you back to your cell. This is the freedom we are enjoying in the material world. So this principle is here, that the Vishnutas smile, that the Amatutas, being mildly surprised how ignorant they are. But you could say they were covered to facilitate this lila. Otherwise, it never happened before and it never happened after. When Yamatutas in action, when Yamatutas appear, there is no place for Vishnututas. When Vishnututas appear, there is no place for Yamatutas. They never meet. Because they never touch each other objects, This is already destined by Yamaraj. He is sending the Yamatutas out, he goes. So they never meet. And Vishnu automatically, the Vishnututas, they bring him back. So there is no contact. Therefore, this story is all you need. first time and the last time they ever met. And the Matutas were definitely impressed. They actually took her over a disciple. Therefore the exchange of knowledge was so smooth and immediately took place. Some comments?
I just observed that apart from Muslims, because as you said they are following principles, and also Jehovah's Witnesses, they're really increasing in number.
Yeah.
Now. And there are actually some, I met one the other day, he was, even though he was like, he was a little deranged, but then he was really preaching. And he believed in what he was saying, so.
Well, unfortunately, they have not much to say, because when you come to that point that the grace goes open and, and resurrection and things get a little bit funny. And what happens there in heaven, we are sitting together with the grandmother and watching TV and this kind of thing, so it's like, wow. But people feel, and there's also another element, they protect each other. This element is very strong there. Like example, why they are growing. I think we would also grow better when we could offer people a Hare Krishna jobs. There's also part of it. They have a very strong business community. And they are always, when you come, and they always, even at the cost of minimized profit, they will always hire the witness Jehovah first, the member of their own, and rather educate him or take care of him in some way. There's a very strong code of loyalty amongst each other.
Yeah, I actually spoke with another Jehovah's Witness about that, and he said, because they're all selvstændige, how do you say that? Yeah. Independent. They work independently. And that's when they go to these meetings, when a new person goes to the meetings, immediately he is encouraged to do, you can do like this, and you can do like that, and there's a lot of support. Many of them there.
Being practically involved, like being engaged.
No, I mean they become independent. They work independently,
like that.
But they get a lot of support and back up how to do it, how you start your own company, and how you do all these things.
Polishing windows, especially.
You may consider this, mundane, but it's a very basic practice. When you deal with the Grihastha field, because they really don't need brahmacharis, they don't really have that monk brahmacharis. Basically, they're all Grihasthas. So in that field, this principle is absolutely important. If you talk to a Grihastha, better you very soon start to talk to him how will he survive, what he will live from, what is his income. Then he listens. Oh, I can be with this and I can survive like this too. Why not?
Actually, they follow better the principle of being dominical, meaning not taking jobs from anyone, not being a paid servant, than actually most devotees, Grihastha devotees do. And,
because they totally failed on that level. Prabhupada wanted that. That's also part of this Varnashrama, institution to guide people along their qualities into particular professions. Of course. We should have our own, just speak like this in certain levels in this school, you get in trouble. They say, come on, it's Maya, we are transcendental. Yeah, but so what? They still the same problem, transcendental. I have to go and get some money to survive, Sorry. And the environment, how many devotees you lost out of this. You come in a certain environment, you get colored by it. And what the jobs devotees have to take on a certain point. Really contaminating jobs, really of the lowest type of association. And of course, this is a big issue. I know our previous GPC was growingly aware of this. Unfortunately, he dedicated his whole energy to that and losing the spiritual platform. He just was starting with the Varnashrama necessity, which is still can be considered spiritual because Krishna himself. But then he went beyond that, getting the brilliant idea by gambling to earn a huge pile of money and then invest it into a well-chosen group of Vaishya type Grihasthas who will create economical basis for others. Makes sense when you think about this. But the money came from gambling. And Krishna was going, first of all, as one of Navigal rightly commented, he said, well, it's not exactly a business of a sannyasi to create an economical platform for grihasthas, isn't it? There was already a defect built into the whole thing. But he meant well. He saw the desperate need. He saw it. And then the money came from, from stock market, which is pure gambling. He lost $10 million in 1 week. This is called Krishna's sign. Even his assisting Vaishya type devotees were yelling, take the money out in 1 week, it's decreasing day by day. In the middle of the week we have only 5 million left, get it out. And he was crazy. He just said, no, we will get the money back. They didn't. And all the promises were already given to the grihasthas. Yeah, just come, be here, relocating whole families, live here, create a strong Vaishya economical basis so other grihasthas can be maintained, the Jehovah principle, like that. That's why he was there.
It's not even, it's actually not their principle to support like that with money. They say, you start your own business. You start your own business. We don't give you money, but they encourage them to start their own business and become independent.
Small businesses.
It's just small business.
That's a real help. To give somebody money is not a help because he will just metabolise an idiot. He spends the whole thing and he's back again to point zero. But to actually teach him how to become productive by the obvious example by another one who already did that, well, that's a real help.
Also the kind of work we do is it's kind of a little detached, uninvolving. I mean, sometimes we had a joke about, but actually serious. A lot of the Windows policies in Denmark are Jehovah's Witnesses.
Yeah.
Because that's a job you can come and go as you like, and it's not sinful really.
And and you become known like this. Like there is Amish in this community in America. These guys are also, they're carpenters, all of them. First of all, it's a really Varna-giving profession. They are like that. They breed new carpenters. It's a type of consciousness. They are so expert that even somebody who would think, crazy Amish. When it comes to carpentry, where's the Amish? They are known. Oh, you carpenter? Where's the Amish? That's a good job. That's quality. So there's no harm to, that's grihastha. Brahmacharya is another thing, but grihastha. And majority is grihastha, so it's obvious need. It's a big issue. And nobody dares to touch it. It's already on a small scale going on. Unfortunately, the businesses which grihasthas tamper with, I just got the latest report from Slovakia, how one grihastha who was at the peak of his operation engaging 120 people, from this 120 half-way devotees. That's 60 devotees having a job. In a factory. He was quite innocent, I have to say. No meat eating allowed in a whole factory. No listening to mundane vibrations. That means even the hired karmis have to listen bhajans the whole day. Broadcast this to the speakers. Huge building. Building 20 times the size of this. They are all working, Nitai Goranga, Nitai Goranga. They're all packaging these fat ladies, Slovakian. I saw it, it's unbelievable. And then they were complaining, but we have to eat. They have their lunch breaks with sausages and everything. He said, well, you can have your sausage out there in a garden if you have to have it, but not in the building. And besides that, we are just starting a kitchen down here, so you can take part. We take a little bit down from your salary, and then you can eat every day, prasadam. And most of them did that. They were all the envious of devotees sitting all the time, this far prasadam and this. So they got envious. They said, so you are preaching also like this, So the whole factory became, but unfortunately, because the product was not of that kind of nature, which is lasting, or it's difficult nowadays to last with anything, but now he is down to a very small portion of employees. Just in 1 week you have to fire 40 people. Because we need. It's a competition. And he's a very expert businessman.
Well, then he could fire all the comments first.
Huh? No, that's what he did always. First the comment go. But he had to really, didn't have a very good experience with devotees. Because they demand. That's demand here is also probably would be a problem. Because being ruined by the social welfare system. And over there, it's still the communistic spirit prevailing. Give me more. Oh, no problem, then you work more. No, I will work less and you give me more. First you have a boss, that's your responsibility to give me more, then I work less. Should not talking. So here to tell you something who is the only thing I can give you is a kick in the rear end. That's all. Because that's what you ask for since 1 year. He gave them always a span. He was explaining, sorry, when you are so stupid. So again, that rule is violated. It is to be agreed on both sides. There is to be exchange of gratefulness. And I think, when you mentioned it with Jehovah, I don't think they have this kind of, what? Washing windows? Me? Never! Oh, Paramahamsa, Paramahamsas don't wash windows. Obviously they don't have that, because otherwise, I guess out of loyalty to stay in that community, they will not put any conditions forward. So there has to be both sides. Yeah.
Yes. To see what the culture, what we cultivated in at least when I was devotee, and what was going on before that, then you see the outcome of that, because everyone, they want distinctly to be better than Shudra. Yeah. And so they can't cooperate. Yeah. And then, because we created a system within ISKCON, especially in this zone, maybe also in other that you become dependent on the leader. And then you think you're a Brahmana, but you're completely dependent. And then when you have to be told to do everything, you're not independent, then you make uproar, and then you leave, and then you fall back into your Shudra again.
That's exactly the problem. You ask, you want to live like a Shudra, but with no, guidance. Well, that's not Shudra. The only one who really enjoys in Vedic society freedom is the Brahmana. The rest, under control. And this is so difficult, therefore this kind of whole project of Varnashram Brahma, this is so difficult. Our previous GBC, and I was there when he said, why is everybody in ISKCON so horrified of the word Shudra? Because he's all the same syndrome. That, no, you supply me, you do the whole thing for me, like you would do for a Shudra, and I will preach like a Brahmana. No, if you are Brahmana, then you are independent in that sense. You depend on Shastra. Brahmanas are the ones, like in a marriage, okay? Brahmana is the only one who has a choice. The rest gets married. They have no choice. They must get married. Brahmana is the only one, you see Brahmana being married or not married. It's the only one who has a choice. The rest must. So it's like there's certain things which go along. We want the benefit, but we don't want to pay the price. That's Shudra. It's typical Shudra. He wants all the benefits, but he will not pay the price. More beer for free. More beer for free. This is how you actually how you get Shudras going in revolutions. You promise them, that when you kill them and you take over, all beer is going to be for free. Oh, great. They will all march, like anything.
So how can we create, how can we, facilitate the devotees that are joining now? Because obviously those devotees that are around and has been around for a long time. We see here, especially here, we see there's like very new devotees and then very old devotees, but there's few.
Yeah.
Well, there's some in between, and they're actually those who are around. They're in Jutland, and they all have their, they're kind of settled.
Yeah, because they are supplying, they are agreeing of being on a Vaishya or Shudra, saying, why not?
So how can we facilitate them? How can we make them grow up understanding that?
I think it's a great advancement, and we already talk about it. It's a great achievement. Because this, that's for the gowns, not for us. Not devotees. Are we? How much? Let's find out. Therefore, I have this conference in Panama. I didn't plan for that, but it's always turning around this. How to designate yourself. You all designate ourselves. And it's nice. Nice designation, but this is to do with reality. And the reality is coming one way or another. The material nature, you cannot say to the material nature, leave me alone, I designate myself to this status. Material nature goes, yeah, it's a good idea, but hello, and then we go, how could this happen? The Brahmana acts like Shudra, Well, he was always Shudra, so what's the big deal? But here's a Brahmin string, Prabhupada says, it's just few paisa, you can hang keys on it, so what? The whole Vedic culture collapsed like this, because the Brahmanas actually became Shudras. But they were still occupying and designating, and the birthright, that's the most hilarious thing. You are the son of a Brahmana, here comes a new Brahmana. Really? He's a punk. He's a Brahmana punk. Then the whole thing becomes perverted, people see it, and they become atheists, because they think, what a clown club, what a circus. And then we lose the whole Siddhanta, we lose the whole message. It's a hard job to get to the real thing. And then and again, as you say, why do you always have so scared of this? Shudra is a very, very noble position in a Vedic society. What did you say? A 90 years old Shudra is, according to Manu Samhita, due to be worshipped as a Brahmana.
Respected and listened to.
Huh?
Respected and listened to.
Respected.
And listened to.
Yeah. Why? Well, he did something in his life. And people know exactly. But why? He's honest. And that honesty, that pays off. Better to be an honest Shudra as a hypocritical Brahmana. That honesty, this is the real thing. And then power comes also. Because then you concoct a situation for yourself, first of all, other people will discover. So they will go, it's okay, yes, your divine grace is okay, my life, and then you think, what's wrong with them? You never think, and then you try to prove it. That costs so much power to prove yourself always to others. It costs so much energy, which you could invest somewhere else, doing something useful. And then they still don't believe you. So you are completely frustrated at the end. It's like, it's like Hitler at the end. The last thing before he took the poison, or he shot himself or whatever, he blamed the whole German nation. These rascals, they didn't understood my command. They betrayed me. It's their fault. So why I killed myself? Devotees do sometimes similar things. And do it yourself. You never understood my divinity status. Therefore I have to. It's like this, and then it's a big issue. And those devotees who actually come in terms with their nature and serve accordingly, they have a relatively easy time. Despite all the institutional. And actually when you boil down the institutional problems we have, it boils down to this. Just to that. There's no other problem as this one. Somebody is something, he shouldn't be. But he could be very nice if he would be like this. That could be very nice. Nobody except few Prabhupada calls in Chaitanya Charitamrita demons here. There will be demons coming around looking like devotees. I'm not the one who's going to analyze who is who, but Prabhupada said such a possibility is there. But that's, you could say, very exception. Most of the problems are coming exactly from this. That devotee could be a wonderful devotee if he would just serve in this propensity and, and place himself in a situation where he can handle now. Maybe it's not forever. From right now, that will be the situation for him. And then when he's situated and he's happy and he's chanting peacefully somewhat, then he progresses. So why not? Maybe the situation is not forever like this. Like it's not assumed that Grihastha is forever. It's not assumed that this is all different stages. But as soon as this evolution comes, no, I designed myself to be like that. I read the Bhagavatam, hey, this is Vyasadeva and this is Shukadev Goswami and that's me. It's a good team, us three. And then you have a problem.
I often think that Prabhupada actually he had his spiritual sky incense factory was quite a big operation, and Prabhupada he had the vision actually to employ devotees there. So Prabhupada had also this some devotee business.
And restaurants.
And restaurants, yeah. I mean, but the spear sky was quite big. It was, as I understand, it was really big operation. It was unfortunately closed down because actually Krishna Maharaj said that was his biggest mistake later on, that he closed it.
Yeah.
He closed it.
He did close it.
Because he thought that it takes devotees away from book distribution. Devotees, they'll work in the spiritual sky incense and not go out and distribute books. So better it's not there, then they have to go out and distribute books.
There was those days, I remember these days, it was very difficult to accept that somebody is maybe not, not this was practically impossible even to think about.
But Prabhupada, it seems like he gave like 4 ways of maintaining yourself. Besides being Sudra, I mean, you can of course have devotee business, and there was book distribution, and farming, and prasadam restaurants.
And you know how he linked up the prasadam, the restaurants? When you read his letters, they were unconditionally linked to the farms. That link was completely forgotten. First of all, the farms never got going. And that's a real historical fact. They never got really going. And, due to various circumstances. And then Prabhupada, he always writes, and then you produce so much on the farms, and the surplus you can use in a restaurant. This is like, every farm should have its own restaurant, advertised, this is Hare Krishna, ecological, whatever, growing vegetable here, using only that, and, so it's like an extended, like an outpost out there for the farm. It was this idea, actually. But, I know what can go wrong with restaurants, it's quite simple. I can give you a whole outline how to run a restaurant, or how to start on your own food. And it was practiced so many times and it is converted. It's easy to trace down the pattern, what can go wrong.
Yeah, in some countries it's my impression that in Australia they're good at this with farming and like with producing, and also with restaurants. Many devotees has restaurants. I mean, there's many restaurants in Australia. It's a big country, but for the population, only 20 million. Then there's lots of devotees, many big temples and many restaurants.
In Prague, when I came to Prague, we were the only vegetarian restaurant in the whole Prague. Now there are many, of course, but devotees alone operate 6 restaurants in the city. One is actually not this country. But the others, small ones, but and I always said it from the first moment when I came to Prague. This city can be easy, have the 10 windows, And I was